Kids eat toast. Kids eat toast. Kids eat toast sometimes.
Hi, hello, we're back. Yes, that is the sounds of the podcast. Kids eat toast sometimes. We've taken a bit of a sabbatical, and for that, we apologize. Were any religious findings made? Sadly not, but we're back in the studio and we're trying our best. Today, we're chatting to a trailblazer. You may have seen her on Table Mountain.
I thought we were talking about our next guest. I'm very confused.
I think we're at a point where we can do fire jokes.
Okay, let's go.
No, the fire jokes. That was a Table Mountain fire.
I thought we were doing rapid fire jokes.
You're a trailblazer. You burnt the mountain down.
Right.
You're also a singer. She's a singer. She's a pop star. She's been compared to Billie Eilish. She's your mom's favorite artist. She's my favorite artist. Today on the podcast, it's my sister, Emily Drew.
Thank you for having me on the show.
You live with me, so it was quite convenient.
I've been waiting for this. I'm feeling pretty nervous, even though you are my brother, but thanks for having me on.
Okay, that's good. I don't know if you can hear a leaf blow in the background. Dave, he works a tough 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So on Saturday, he wakes up early to garden and annoy the rest of his neighbors. Thanks for coming, Dave. Pleasure to have you on the show. So Emily currently is in Liverpool. Well, she's currently here, but she studies in Liverpool, #COVID. And she's a musician, studying music, making her way in the music industry. She has been compared to the less memorable version of Billie Eilish. Your opening thoughts on that?
I'd say that's a fair statement. I mean, I got a lot of those comments on Submit Hub, which some of you may know as it's a platform where you submit your music and people basically tear you to shreds.
Who do you submit your music to?
It's to random people who are affiliated with Submit Hub, and you have to pay to submit your music as well.
So you're paying for a review?
You're paying for a review of your unreleased or released music, yeah.
And what were some of the reviews like?
That I'm like a worse Billie Eilish. For better or for worse was one of the comments, so yeah.
No, I think they literally said worse.
Yeah.
A worse Billie Eilish. It wasn't a for better or for worse.
No, they said for better or for worse, ... but you could tell it was for worse.
Well, let's look at them. Who are these people sitting behind their computers submitting horrible reviews?
I mean, to be fair, I've submitted a fair amount of, not horrible reviews, but fair reviews, I'd say. Honest reviews.
There are a lot of you out there that think you can sing and make music. You can't. Same with the podcast. Look at me. Swinging for the fences, not all that successful. No comments on that.
No, I didn't know you were swinging it back over to me.
No, it's we like to get you've listened to the podcast, but a pitter-patter back and forth. Oh, your mama. No, your mama. You know, our mama.
I was about to say that.
Beat you to the punch. Anyway, you are a middle child. Take us through a bit of middle child syndrome, if you will.
Middle child syndrome, it gets a bad rep, I'd say. I love being a middle child. You go fairly unnoticed for the most part.
Not so good when you're trying to promote a music career.
Exactly, yeah. The younger one gets all the attention and the older one was born first, so naturally they got attention when they were the only ones around. So
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Look after your firstborns.
But I really love being a middle child.
Okay, it sounds like you're a bit of a hostage at the moment.
No,
your parents have got a gun behind the set there and they'll shoot you. Our parents are violent.
That's not a fair statement, I don't think.
Is that your go-to sort of phrase?
That's a fair statement and that's not a fair statement.
It's a simple way to live your life.
This is my first debut, so I'm trying out a whole bunch of things and we'll see how people respond.
Okay, a first debut. That's double nervousness.
Okay, it's my debut on Kids
No,
Eat Toast.
I wasn't mocking you. Oh, shut up. These people with their leaf blowers. I hope you can't hear it.
I thought you were saying I was being redundant.
No, because it quite literally is your first debut.
Of anything.
That's
true. I've been pretty underground for the most part.
Underground, grime.
We're still figuring out.
What would you say your genre is at this moment?
Oh, that's a tough one because I think so much current music is genre bending. Like even artists we love to listen to today. My favorite artist, Big Pig. I mean, she's a pop singer, but she has drum and bass. electronic, and it just fuses together so beautifully. So that's kind of what I look up to.
Big Pig, check her out.
Yeah, she just dropped her new album. I don't know why I'm promoting her and not myself, but
Hey, because everyone can come up. No, you don't just need to come up by yourself.
Exactly. Shout out to Big Pig.
Peppa Pig. Oink, oink. Some of you enjoyed bacon? Now go listen to that track. Meter's Murder. What? Getting some notes from the director. Move on to the next question. Okay. So what I also find interesting about you, and you can see your sound waves over there. So mine are healthy. Yours are quite unhealthy. So let's get them healthy.
Okay. Well, I'd like a question.
I was beginning to phrase one. So let me get back to phrasing a question.
Go on then.
On I go. So I think it's quite interesting that you traveled around the world to the UK, recolonizing the colonial peasants, back to the United Kingdom during a pandemic. How has that been?
Really, it was one of the worst experiences of my life, I'd have to say. And I had my rose-tinted glasses on. When I left, I thought it was going to be this amazing experience, which it was, and I think it will be. But it was just, traveling during a pandemic is just not fun. Even if you don't come from a neurotic family, which ours very much is, it's not enjoyable. And you're constantly scared of either getting sick or making someone else sick. So it wasn't a great experience.
Do you think you've been raised in a neurotic household?
100%. I'd have to say you're probably the most neurotic. You're up there with our mother.
Mother. I love mother.
Mother.
Really? Okay. Yeah, probably fair.
But dad is a secret neurotic, I'd have to say.
Yes. But he's also beast mode.
True.
I don't know why I use that turn of phrase. Okay, so you traveled. You're now in Liverpool.
Yes.
How did you come to be in a seaside village filled with soccer teams and mediocrity?
It all started with the Beatles and Lipper. Yeah, we're taking it there. I know anyone who's from Liverpool is obsessed with talking about the Beatles, but they have a name for music, and it's for good reason. Tons of open mics, and the music scene is just amazing there. And the other option was Berlin, but I think that was to do with the fact that my boyfriend is in Germany.
That's right, you pervert. She's taken. So you can stop watching now. Thanks for the engagement. See you next time. See you next time. We have a thought on the show. Call my sister a thought. I'm working on it.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh, Lord. And then how have you found that your creative process? What's your creative process been like in Liverpool? Have you been able to create during a pandemic, homesick, lovesick, corona sick?
To be honest, in the beginning, it was so much, I want to say, trauma and a lot of crying. And you were on the receiving end of a lot of that crying.
Not a good counselor is what I learned.
You weren't, no. But I was crying a lot, and I thought this would give me a lot to write about. But in the moment, you're so upset and sad that I had to process it, come back home. And from that, from those experiences, it's given me a lot to write about. And
from the ashes rose a phoenix.
It's been very enjoyable.
Okay, I feel art or creativity does need a certain level of trauma. If you live in a very easy, boring sort of life, there's nothing very fun and that's why I respect Taylor Swift's hustle so much. She continuously puts herself through a breakup to get us those club anthems.
That's right. This just reminds me of Rachel Barry from Glee writing about her hair band, which is, she really didn't have a lot to write about.
Is this Leah Michelle?
This is Leah Michelle.
Total bitch.
Apparently.
She won't even come on the podcast.
Apparently.
No, confirmed. Okay, this is a question. We've had a few questions from fans. Why do you hate animals? ? From Gracie Facey 63.
This is lies. I'm being set up. Our one dog is degenerating at a rapid pace, and she gets underfoot, and some people trip over her.
And others kick her. And there's a kicker.
Sometimes she's in the way.
Oh my word. Cancelled for animal abuse.
No, I just like to say that Kidsy Toast is the only one who thinks I'm an animal abuser.
Kidsy Toast is not a person.
My brother. I didn't know if we were using those terms.
No, people don't see me and go, hey, Kidsy Toast. They're like, hey, loser. That's how they greet me. It's much better that way. Okay. Who is your favorite character on the show Community?
Oh,
because we love that show. And I know fans of the podcast also enjoy the show because we have the same sort of writing style. That's what I've heard.
I've been waiting for this question, and
I'm levitating.
I've been giving it a lot of thought, and I'd have to say it's between the Dean, Chang,
Ring-a-ding.
and Troy. All
Okay.
three. Favorite female character is obviously Annie. I mean, I don't know whose favorite is Britta, but
Everyone hates Britta.
everyone hates Britta.
I'm watching a TV show where, I don't know whatever her name is, but Britta is basically playing Britta in a show
Yes.
called Love, and you just want to...
She's so self-destructive.
sucks the life out of a room.
She does. Yeah.
Similar to my guest today. Emily, thanks so much for coming.
Having me.
No, that was just a leading gag. We still got some
Sorry.
memories to make, some conversations. Okay, interesting. I like how all of your favorite characters are dealing with mental illness in some way
I
or
knew
another.
this was gonna come up, and
The Dean, very unstable.
very unstable. But I'd have to say the most unstable is Chang. I think he has split personality.
That goes
disorder.
without saying. That literally plays out throughout the show. Okay.
I don't think that has any reflection on me, though. I mean, who's your favorite Community character?
Piers.
Well, he's a raging racist. So,
No, he isn't.
well,
It's
he
more
is.
a caricature of
Okay.
that person. So, I mean, Emily, don't throw these sort of accusations around. You know I've been called a white supremacist somehow
That's true.
on Twitter. Free Palestine, BLM. So we're trying to get away from those narratives. My word. Come on, people. TikTok, you're the streets. Your thoughts? Why are you humiliated
TikTok,
to be
ooh.
on TikTok? I find that fascinating.
I think anyone who isn't initially humiliated by being on TikTok, there's something wrong with them and they're not entirely self-aware, because it is inherently embarrassing to post that sort of content. It's like shit posting. And you just have to get over yourself. I think in the beginning, everyone's embarrassed.
But I think it's not shit posting. I think you need to find
Your niche.
your niche. Unless your niche is big titties, big bum, doing dumb
Yeah.
things and having a bunch of incels comment on your stuff, then, hey,
For sure.
do you? You know the Kardashians, they made a complete fortune out of that sort of stuff before. Imagine them on TikTok. They would have been wild. Kim would be out there sucking dicks
That's probably true.
on the talk. And it would have been massive. But anyway, moving on into safer territories. Safer waters, some would say. International waters, you can't prosecute me there.
What is this line of questioning? Are we still on TikTok?
Yes, no, so you got to find your niche. And then I also thought when I started posting on TikTok, I try to be on trends and you see, it's whatever. I try to do stuff that I saw other creators doing that went viral. And then it was, I think when you're putting out content and it makes you cringe or you don't like it, then there's a problem. But if you are happy, like when you released that cover on TikTok,
Yeah.
that's not cringe whatsoever. That's awesome. Or like when I release a shorter clip of a video I've chopped up, I go, I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely finding your thing. There's such a poor stigma about TikTok. If you're a young artist, young creative, whatever it is, and you're not using TikTok,
Yeah.
you're literally,
What are you?
it's the only place you can go viral or have organic reach.
And I think that's what people who aren't in a creative position, they don't understand that you don't necessarily want to be on TikTok, but you actually have to be, as you said, to get anywhere with your career.
For sure. Just out of interest, how many views do you think KETS does monthly on Instagram? If you were to guess, hazard a guess.
I'm going to say, is this an average that I'm guessing at?
Oh, for
Or
the
of
last
this
month.
last
Yeah,
month,
I
okay.
checked out the last month, what we did on Instagram.
I'm going to guess 10,000.
That's insulting. But also, guys, when people ask you these questions, always guess low. You know, you got friends out there hanging by a thread.
It makes them feel better.
Exactly. Don't guess high and they're like, guess low. Well done, Emily. You guessed
Thank
low. So
you.
thank you. Yeah, KETS, we did 35,000.
Wow,
35,000.
congratulations.
Clap, clap, clap. Drop the ad. There's no ad. No one pays.
No current sponsors.
No current, past, present, or future. But we're joking. They come in. We're getting back on the podcast grind. And that is also one of the questions I wanted to speak to you about. As a creative, especially whether you're doing it music, where it's comedy, whatever it is, how do you keep creating? Because it is hard. There are constant barriers in your way, self-doubt. Sometimes you put something up into the world, into Submit Hub. gets a negative review. What keeps you going?
I think what keeps you going, and this is quite a personal answer, but it's a question for me, so I'm taking it there. It's what really makes you feel really happy when you wake up in the morning and there's that thing that you really want to do. There's that itch that you want to scratch. And for me, that's making music. And so when you get comments from Submit Hub or rude TikTok comments like you're a white supremacist, that's not one for me particularly.
Yeah, who gets comments like that?
But you just have to, you reset every day. I think you honestly, you go to bed and you reset, and if you continue doing what you enjoy doing, then really the comments don't matter unless they're really brutal. Then I think you need to take a step back.
No, I mean, I think it's also, if it's intelligent comments or feedback of people you trust. I think I have a circle of people who I trust. Exactly. So if someone was like, that was terrible in my circle, I was like, I really need to reevaluate it. But if user like 360, 69, 420 is like, you are cringe, I'm like, my guy, make a TikTok profile first before you come for me. I want to be able to call you out on your physical deficiencies.
Exactly.
Okay, so now carrying on into the music theme, the music trend. Everyone is always like, collaborate, do this, meet other artists, collaborate with this DJ, make a track there. Collaboration is hard.
Collaboration, honestly, and I don't mean to be that person, it's the worst. You need to do it. You have to be out there doing it, but it's not fun. And online collaboration is about 1,000 times harder. So I forgot the initial question. If I could just...
No, I think you answered it pretty well. Like collaboration, everyone, it's like, excuse me, collaboration is like a buzzword. It's like synergy. Everyone's like, the company's got a lot of synergy. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We collaborate. No, you do spreadsheets and then it's a Google Doc. It's not collaboration.
It's not the same.
You work separately on the same document. And I think creatives who are such egotistical creatures, they're very hard to collaborate with. But the takeaway is we still have to do it.
Oh no, you 100%. Even if you think you're the shit and you know everything, you have to collaborate. I mean, the things that come out of a collaboration, I feel you're not even paying attention.
Sorry,
anymore.
my Tinder notifications started coming through. My bad.
The things you get out of a collaboration, you could never find within yourself. I mean, you can't be so cocky and overconfident to a point where you think you're not, like, someone else is not bringing anything to the table.
It's a bit like masturbation.
Okay.
If you do it by yourself, you know what you're getting.
Half as fun.
Twice as nice.
We're cutting that part out.
Alabama, Arkansas, Adula, Mama, and Pa.
I don't like where this is going.
No, it's a joke. Get over
Veer
this.
it away.
What can you do? Oh, the next guest is saying, ping if I want coffee. So I'm going to ping him.
But I just feel very undervalued here. I did not get coffee.
Hi, Mike. I'm in the middle of a podcast. I will love a coffee though, and I'll see you for your interview shortly. Cool. Yes, with my...
Your assistant wants a coffee.
And Chloe also wants one. We'll pay you back. Sorry, not sorry.
No coffee was offered to me.
We just did a voice note in the middle of the show. To normalize voice noting while you're talking to people. You often say to a friend, I can't talk right now. That's bullshit.
Voice note.
Doesn't matter if you're in a Zoom call, a lecture, a meeting, going through your divorce, you can voice note whenever you want.
Yeah, voice noting is the best.
It is. Except when you restart. When you constantly restart.
Oh God, that's like, the worst.
When you can't get your high right, you're like, fuck.
My favorite is actually listening back to a voice note. I don't know if it's deeply narcissistic, but I enjoy hearing you're shaking your head, but I got this from you. I know you listen back to your voice notes, so.
I'm an artist seeking to improve. No, I even when I edit the podcast, I just cringe. It's something, maybe it's a lot of self-loathing that has been instilled in human beings, but I don't know too many people that like hearing the sound of their voice. They always go, is that what I sound like? You're like, yeah. I'm like, oh no.
I don't know. I think if you have a nice voice, it doesn't sound
well,
too
you're a
trash.
musician. Oh my God. Has the recording stopped? No. Sorry, we're dealing.
I need a burp quickly.
Have a burp. That's where we put the ad. No, we'll just keep
I have IBS.
Oh, okay. You're not a cancer survivor. You just come out. I've got IBS. Link in bio. Support our cause.
I'm just saying, that's why I burp all the time.
You couldn't have a muffin this morning. Get over yourself. That was a bit
Jeez,
hectic.
Move on to the
I
next
stand with
question.
IBS.
We stand with IBS.
We stand a queen.
We stand an IBS baddie.
Normalize farting. I see so many videos of like couples having to go fart outside. Please, guys, if you're dating someone and you don't have the chutzpah to fart on their leg,
what's wrong with them?
come on.
That's weird.
Don't make us feel weird.
Yeah.
You're weird. What a mess. So on collaboration, on making music,
Yes.
and being in the South African industry, where do you kind of stand on supporting local artists? Or someone's like, oh, they're South African, we must support them. What are your feelings around that?
Oh, this is a good question. I honestly think, what are you losing by supporting someone else, especially another South African artist? Really, what are you losing? I think you're losing nothing and you're giving them everything.
I think people don't understand what a like, a share, or comment, or someone putting up your music or sending you a message.
Yeah.
Just listen to your song, loved it. Sam, the hair's debatable, love the pod though. So, that really goes the extra mile. So I think, but I think that's also a people change or a personality change. Like in general, we should just be more supportive. And I see it when, like even in sports teams, and I played quite a lot of sport, coach a lot of sports, when guys do things right, there's no congratulations or there's no energy. But when guys do something wrong, then people are like, you messed up there. Da, da. So I think as human beings, we need to get better at being like, oh my word, that's such an awesome song. You've done this. You're remarkable. Not to the point where everything is awesome. It's like, sorry guys, I will give you, if it's bad, it's bad. So that's the differentiation, is that I think it is always to a point. Like you can shamelessly support people, but we have to be honest and realize, like, if you make a podcast, you're competing with people's attention.
Yeah.
And why are they going to listen to you opposed to Joe Rogan? Or why is someone going to listen to your song opposed to Billie Eilish? So you've got to measure yourself. And I think that's quite daunting.
It's extremely daunting, especially when you're starting out. I think that's the biggest hurdle to get over, is getting over yourself, but also being serious enough about something that you put in the time and effort. I mean, it's one of the most like awful and beautiful things, being a creative person, I think. Well, everyone's creative. Being creative in your career or chosen field.
Yes. No, apt. And you said serious. Let's get really serious.
Okay.
Which music show would you not go on?
Okay, I've had to think about this one, and I'm standing by my original answer, which was the X Factor.
Your original answer. People don't know that.
Sorry, we've been chatting behind the scenes, but it's the X Factor.
It's my sister.
It's the X Factor.
Why is the X Factor getting the X? The buzzer.
I'm sorry, but that buzzer, imagine being buzzed in front of millions of people.
True.
It literally make your heart drop. And then they expect you to carry on singing or carry on doing your bit as if Simon Cowell didn't just buzz you. I mean, it's pretty heart-wrenching.
It is. And I love that you mentioned the X Factor, because you could go out there and be the most talented musician ever, and then like a three-legged dog that can do backflips gets to the next round, and you're like, you could have had it.
It's a mixed bag, yeah.
No, the fucking wackos go on the X Factor. I'd love The Voice. The Voice would be mine. I love the concept of the spinning chair. Would love to get in one of those one day. The best thing I've ever seen is when will.i.am's like bored and listening he presses it, and he's like, and he just has to fake it till he make it. And that,
honestly, he committed. So
he committed.
And also,
never do it small, always do it tiny.
The Voice is the inverse of X Factor. I mean, they literally press the button for a positive. It's like an affirmation. Whereas the X Factor, it's like you're the worst, and there's going to be a loud buzzing sound. But
also it's like talking, and then nobody's paying attention to you. So imagine you're like, hi, I'm Emily at a party, and someone just stands with their back to you.
You know what? I'd prefer that over being buzzed.
So you can kind of just like shimmy into the
No one saw it. It's just on you.
No, that's great. Who's your biggest hairball? Remember when that was a joke? That was a OG 2000s joke. Anyway, who would you say your greatest musical inspiration is
Oh,
of all time?
of all time.
Who really fires up the musical loins? Phrasing.
I don't know, because there's so many different facets. I'd have to say, currently, I'm going to give a bunch of different answers here. I know it's not what you want. Currently, my biggest musical inspiration is Big Pig. I've
Peppa Pig.
mentioned her before, Peppa Pig.
Check her out. Bacon avocado.
I also, and come for me if this is a basic answer, but Britney Spears. Honestly, her songwriting and her originality in pop, she is iconic, and everyone knows her for a reason. Yeah.
Free Britney.
Free Britney. Jesus.
It's true. It's true. You have a penchant for the mentally ill, it seems. You just vibe off them.
Latch on. Yeah, we get on.
You little limpet.
It's too niche.
A limpet.
You're not giving me much to go off of. With
I know,
limpets.
but I feel it's the brand. It's what we're working towards. Okay, Britney Spears is an icon. She is a pop culture icon.
She is, yeah.
That's for sure. I don't know.
What's the next question? Let's just move on then.
No, I was thinking, because usually people say, so who's your favorite?
Oh,
and then
sorry. Social cues are not, who's your favorite?
Oh, thanks for asking. I would say, and you've heard this repeatedly,
Oh my God.
Juice WRLD revolutionized the way we listen to hip hop.
Good God.
R.I.P. Juice WRLD, you're the guy. Okay.
I think you found a way to work Juice WRLD into too many things.
I try to pepper him in as often as I can.
Yeah.
Someone's like, what are you drinking? Juice WRLD. Died on an aeroplane. Shame he did though. Or in the hospital. This is getting dark.
Let's move on.
Moving on. Okay. So finally,
Cool.
what would your parting message be to anyone who's trying to make music, who's thinking about, or, just in that space where they need a push from a random stranger on the internet on a very offbeat podcast?
I'd say, and it's corny as hell, but I think it's such a great message. Just really, if you can, do what really makes you happy. I know that was very hesitant, but really just do what makes you happy, because I think this pandemic has made us relook at everything, and you got to just do what you would like to do. If you can, do what you would like to do.
Of course. And I think that's a lovely note. I always giggle when I see things on social media. Do what sets your soul on fire.
But it's true.
Bitch, I'm not a fireman. Calm down. But no, you got to. And like you said, there are obviously some barriers in the way of certain people. And of course. But I think if you can get to a point where you do not even necessarily what makes you excessively happy, but something you're good at that will lead to happiness, because happiness is a bizarre thing to chase. I think it's very hard to measure, but I think if you do stuff that you're good at and you surround yourself with good people, and you give yourself enough time to chill, stop hustling mid-20s.
I know, it's really freaking me out. I'm 21 and I'm feeling like I've not accomplished anything.
Yeah, no, it's like if you're an artist who doesn't have a podcast, 3 stand-up specials, and is coming up on the Tonight Show, you're a fucking failure.
Yeah, you're a joke. Not you specifically.
I wish I were a joke. These people would laugh.
They do laugh.
You and Mom.
Okay.
No, but thanks, Em. You've been... I hope people can hear, or especially watch, and realize how earnest you are. You're one of the most earnest individuals I've come across. A sensitive soul, a sweet soul, and someone I'm undoubtedly proud to call my sister.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for having me on the show. Love you guys.
Panic sign off. Chloe's crying in the back. Mike Wright's coming with a coffee. Chucky back back. That's us. We out. Thank you so much for listening. Like you would have picked up in this podcast and in all podcasts, I have a tremendous amount of gratitude and thanks for people who listen, who share. Call me a white supremacist. It's all the same. We love you. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. Emily Drew, everyone.
Thanks for having me on.
KETS.